Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh, Wilkins, presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Got a lot in store for today, including the latest with golf. Obviously, major announcements are happening today. We're going to talk a little bit about, obviously, soccer. We'll get into a little bit about flag football, basketball, a little bit of everything. It's the whole gamut of girls' sports. But got a quick couple of news. Just want to give a couple updates on real quick. Hold on 1 second. Alright, update this in our golf segment real quick. Where's girls golf? Alright, so we'll start the show obviously with flag football. So if you guys didn't know, Atlanta Falcons are bringing more flag football to high school programs. This is via Fox Atlanta Digital Team. Go to their website, fox5atlanta.com. But apparently the Atlanta Falcons have announced that 42 high schools across Georgia will receive grants from the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation to establish girls flag football programs. Obviously, they're going to host the Atlanta Falcons High School Showcase in partnership with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. It's going to take place May 9th through the 10th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And the flag championship game will be during that time as well. The showcase will provide 200 young women the chance to demonstrate their skills in front of NAIA, NJCAA coaches, and NCAA representatives, potentially open doors to collegiate level play, which is also another exciting development in it. In 2018, the Falcons launched a pilot program for girls flag football with 19 high schools in Gwinnett County. So that's kind of how it all started. As we know, the sport's been taken off. The goal was to give young women more opportunities to participate in the sport. The program's success led GHSA to officially recognize girls flag football as a sanctioned sport in December 2019, the fourth state to do so. So again, guiding on it pretty early as the growth was starting to expanding a lot when the select few programs in the country or select few states in the country to actually allow it to be here. So since then, 265 high schools across Georgia have included girls flag football in their athletic programs. This initiative has allowed numerous student athletes to pursue their passion and explore collegiate opportunities. In addition to Georgia, the Falcons announced that the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation will provide grants to 20 high schools in Alabama and 12 in Montana to establish similar programs. The expansion aims to empower more young women through the sport, provide them with a pathway to success. So that is the latest there. I thought that was exciting. Obviously, the last few years, we've been having it was a pretty exciting time last year. As you guys know, we had the GHSA football championships, but right before those that preceded the state championships for boys, you had the girls flag football. So if you guys don't know, a quick update on that. So it's only been in play about 4 years now. It'll be entering year 5 next year. Calvary Day started off and won the first state championship in Class A through 5A, followed by 6A, 7A with West Forsyth. And in the last 3 years, dominating in Class A through 4A has been Southeast Bullock, winning 3 consecutive state championships in girls flag football. Then 5A, 6A has been a new champion every single year since then. Dodge County won it in 2021. Followed by Lithia Springs in 2022, and then Greenbrier in 2023. And in 7A, the same thing, a new champion every single year, with Hillgrove winning in 21, Blessed Trinity in 22, and Pope in 2023. So I take this time as well to update you guys. Again, we announced this announcement in February, but we are also going to have the opening of the season October 6th. So if you guys didn't know, flag football will be coming to a TV near you here pretty soon. So, reason I bring that up is is, if you guys did not know, on October 2nd, flag football season was going to open with 4 games, having all 3 state championship winners from last season playing in the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic, with luncheons in August, with the 22 football teams, which will play 11 games August 14th through the 17th. The girls will also have their own 7-on-7 tournament June 19th, with as many as 50 schools participating in this event as well. And then also another cool point, flag football is going to have its own Georgia League Classic, where it's the best players from all across the state going to get invited, and they're going to be able to play in this elite level all-star game that will also be streamed and also be able to watch viewable TV. So obviously some great things happening in the sport. A great kickoff, I think, and just allowing the girls to be able to have more exposure, obviously, for, you know, themselves, being able to expand the sport. And then obviously with Arthur Blank being a huge part of this in the state of Georgia and also in other neighboring states, obviously that adds a different, you know, focus on it. And then with it being streamed on TV, it's just going to create a whole big funnel effect, just kind of like a little snowball, where the girls will be able to get a little bit of notice for more TV, more revenue coming in. That potentially adds it to NCAA flag football potentially coming. So I think it's super exciting when you look at the whole landscape of it. It's similar to, I won't say that far, NCAA girls basketball, but you can't tell me that it can't pick up that same kind of steam, especially if you get the corporate sponsors behind it, you get the growth of the sport coming, and then it's really exciting to watch as well. So non-contact, for the most part, girls going at it. So I think that is super cool, especially with that happening and that announcement by Fox 5 Atlanta. So definitely make sure October 2nd is when the season's going to start. And again, it'll be 7-on-7 tournaments, and it'll be broadcast on Peachtree Sports Network. So guys, definitely make sure you check that out. Will be very, very fun. The All-Star games will take place December 26th through the 27th as well. So watch out for that. But the season will officially start October 2nd and will be kicked off there as well. And they will also be featured at the Corky Kell Luncheon. So check all that out. Exciting new updates in flag football. All right, so we'll keep rolling. Obviously, girls golf state championships are taking place today. So we'll take a quick look. Obviously, have a breaking story. Right now, obviously, they just came up big, and that is Lambert Golf. So it was aiming for their 5th state championship, and they have officially won. It was announced about an hour ago via Nicholas Sullivan on Twitter. He says, Lambert Girls Golf claims its 5th straight state championship and 10th overall with a 30-stroke win at Sunset Hills Country Club. Athena Yo closed out back-to-back individual titles on this putt, finishing 2nd for the tourney. So they have clinched their 5th consecutive state championship. As you guys know, today is the last day for the event. So they just took that home in 7A. So special shout out to them. A couple round 1 results, obviously, for Carrollton. After round 1, they hit 3rd place with a score of 238 in the 7A state championship. Maddie Simpson led the team with 76, and she was currently in 10th place. So that was the result from round 1 there. Also, you had North Gwinnett Girls Golf. Had a pretty good opening day on Monday, sitting in 4th after the first day of the tournament. They shot a 242 to finish behind Lambert, Walton with 229, and then Carrollton with 238. Peachtree Ridge 8th at 261, and then Brookwood with 300 was in 11th, and Beaufort 12 with 312. Peachtree Ridge's Lindsay Pack had Gwinnett's best round of the day at 76, and she tied for 10th place in round 1. Also, other Gwinnett standouts was Allison Meyer. She finished 14th with a tie at 78. And then you had Beaufort's Julie Lee, 18th at the 81. North Gwinnett's Rebecca Cho. She also shot an 81. North Gwinnett's Haley Moon, she shot at 83. North Gwinnett's Yeong Kim, she shot at 87. Brookwood's Paige Greco, she shot at 89. North Gwinnett's Sophie Strong shot a 90. Peachtree Ridge Diana M, she shot a 92. They all finished top 30 individually in the event. So that is the latest results. As I said, 7A, they just captured the title for them. In other news, who also had a strong day 1 was Nara Kim of Greater Atlanta Christian. She's only a freshman, but has performed at a high level all season. She holds the first round lead in, obviously, Class 5A. She shot 3 under 69 for a 4-shot lead to conclude the day yesterday, and she led currently Harrison County's Leigh Allen. So I thought that was super cool see if she can finish it out strong and come out on top. All right, so that is the latest there. Obviously, we talked about flag football, so major news there. Obviously, with the Atlanta Falcons bringing 42 new teams. Golf is continuing to go on now. See if we got any quick, obviously, updates. All right, so it looks like Alpharetta just announced theirs. So their ladies finished 5th overall in 6A. Mahima took 2nd individually at the 6A Golf Girls State Championship. She had a pretty good round as well, but she ended up getting 2nd in the event. So special shout out to her as well. See if we got any more quick golf updates. All right, so obviously we talked about Lambert. Let's dive into them just a little bit. So we talked about the results, but just let's kind of contextualize and go a little bit about how their team, and just, another great feat winning their 10th overall and obviously 5th straight. But a little bit about their team. They obviously lost their best player, in the state, but we're still in position to, capture, obviously, this title that they were able to. There's one of the favorites going in. They also won their area championship this year for the 13th consecutive year. And then obviously we talked about the 10th state title. So the story is up on AJC.com. And via AJC, it says, "It's nice to have golf courses within 10 minutes of your front door," said Lambert coach Shane Fortenberry. I think that influences the players and kind of brings in players. We try to support middle school golf and try to grow the game by getting the young girls involved. I think that has a lot to do with it. With the graduation of Georgia Player of the Year, Sarah M., now playing at Vanderbilt, the team has been made by a pair of juniors, Athena Yu and then Zoe Duvall, who are among the best players in the state of Georgia. They finished 1-2 at Area 4 tournament, with Yu being the medalist with a 70 score. She also tied for 2nd at the 2023 Women's Amateur Championship, and Duvall was 18th at PGA High School Girls National Championship. Via quote, it says, "If Zoe was at any other school in Georgia, she could easily be their number one." Another important player for him this season has been Hannah Munn. She's a sophomore and excellent number 3 player for their team, who gives them, consistently shooting in the 70s, a rare combination that has been instrumental in the school's ability to contend for championships. Munn, whose sister Sharon went on to star at Emory, will likely be making her final appearance this year for the Longhorns, as the family is moving to Sandy Springs and should be transferring to Rivers Academy. Viacor says she might even be better than her sister. Fortenberry said, "She's a really solid player who's been averaging in the mid-70s all year. A lot of schools have 1 or 2 players who can shoot in the 70s. She gives us 3, and that can really make a difference for Lambert." And then last but not least, McKinley Proctor, a junior. She's number 4 for them, and number 5 was Katie Soko, the only senior on the team, provide depth for them all throughout. So they've been doing their thing. They won 3 tournaments this year and finished 2nd in a couple of others, and obviously now bringing home the state championship, their 5th consecutive and 10th overall. So that's the latest results on the golf. Again, keep it locked to GHSA on Twitter. I'm sure they'll be having all the results from today's action as the golf season concludes today. All right, so that's all we got for the moment. We're going to take one quick short break, thank our sponsors, be back on the other side.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
got you covered.
All right, guys, so we are back. So we'll go ahead and dive into a little bit of volleyball. Obviously, some major news. First broke today, obviously, by Max. Pretty incredible intel here that he was able to provide. But Walton has a new volleyball coach, and it is a storied history for their program, right? They've won 15 state championships overall as a program, 5 consecutive from 2015 to 2019. So they've been doing their thing. They also won another championship in 2021. So they have been kind of the cream of the crop. We talk about, obviously, Milton all the time, and girls lacrosse as being a top team. More recently in flag football, obviously Southeast Bullock. You put Walton kind of in that same category as well. But they're going to have a new coach this upcoming season for their program. So they are going to hire Erica Ford to lead the Raiders volleyball team as its next head coach. She spent one season at Roswell High School this previous year, but is now making the move to Walton to replace legendary head coach Suzanne Fitzgerald. She's going to obviously attempt to keep that winning tradition that they have there as well, as she aims to add their 16th state championship to, obviously, the Walton Raiders. Last one won in 2021. Also had a four-peat, looks like, in 2010 to 2013 as well. So it's just a historic program that is, the creme de la creme, essentially. She's also, Fitzgerald was the state's all-time winningest volleyball coach. Her role varied from year to year as she held titles such as head coach to co-head coach during her time with the Raiders as well. And then forward, she is a former University of Georgia basketball player, but has been coaching volleyball for the last 8 seasons, making stops at high schools such as Chattahoochee, where she served as an assistant coach with North Forsyth, where she's been assistant coach since 2020. She also has a group thing to kind of note as well, and I remember this being pointed out, A5 Volleyball Club. It's like a club volleyball. Obviously, they play that a lot, definitely during this time before they ramp up and do the season. Obviously, a lot of Walton players will be playing on that team, so I know some coaches will be like, well, what about the camaraderie of the team and them building the kind of cohesion and everything? Well, that'll already be built because she's the coach there. She's very active, obviously, with what they do. So she's going to already have a leg up and be able to build some, probably, implement some of her strategies, obviously some of her plays and things like that for the team. So then when they come in, during, obviously, the fall, there'll be a well-oiled machine, come major season play, these major tournaments, obviously playoff play as well. So phenomenal player. She also was at Walton, very, very, very good volleyball player. And very, very good basketball player during her tenure there, and went on to play. Was it at UGA, correct? Yeah, went on to play at UGA. So she's had a successful career. She's been a really good coach. With Chattahoochee? Thank you. She went to Chattahoochee. So she's going to be bringing a little bit of that winning, obviously, to the Walton program. And, again, I think it's going to be important to see kind of how that A5 volleyball club does, obviously, during, the summer and building that chemistry, because a lot of the girls that play on that team will be playing for the Walton Raiders next season. So that would be very, very crucial for the program. So can't wait to see how it comes on top. Obviously, Max had it first. This news just broke. So shout out to him for writing the story. And obviously shout out to our insider. We'll leave him nameless, but our insider here at Score Atlanta. So special shout out to him. All right. Other news, looks like we have East Coweta volleyball. Okay, they're going to have a summer camp, obviously, coming up. So Camp A is June 10th through 11th, 5:30 to 8. Rising 4th, 8th graders. Camp B is going to be June 12th to June 13th, 5:30 to 8. The cost for session 1, $75. Both sessions is going to be $140. Camp will be held at East Coweta High School at John Thrower Gym. And for more info, email emma.wien@cowetaschools.net, and then ECHSVBBBooster@gmail.com. So they're going to have their summer camp coming up in another couple of weeks. So that'll be obviously something to watch for as well. All right, guys. So got to go to the basketball. Obviously, we talked about volleyball, and I actually got a pretty cool clip. If you guys didn't know, it was a major tournament this past weekend at Nike EYBL for the girls' side. major players from Georgia was playing in the event. So we'll roll the clip here in just a second. But the player that's in the clip is Amira Anderson. She's obviously from Virginia, so she's not here from Georgia, but thought it was a player to highlight. She got really hot, hit a rhythm, and things like that. So we'll roll it here in just a moment. But she had a really good tournament and really got hot towards the latter end of the game. So we'll roll it here in just a sec.
And I really like Kelsey Plum in the W. I'm Amira Anderson. I'm from Virginia, and I'm a 2025.
So how you feel like you played today?
I thought I did good. I thought I started off not as well, but in the second half, I started hitting my threes. So that was good energy and stuff like that.
How often do you train?
I try to train maybe 5 days of the week. I usually stay after practice and get a lot of shots up. So.
How many shots?
It's probably a little over 200 after practice. I have a routine I go through with threes.
Nice. So who's your favorite player on the boys' side and on the girls' side?
On the guys' side, I would say probably maybe Steph just with threes, and then I really like Kelsey Plum in the W.
All right, if you care for me, Craig, just pause it real quick.
I'm Amira Anderson. I'm from Virginia, and I'm a 2025.
So how you feel?
Thank you, Craig. You're the best. All right, so as you can see, my boy Ra had to give him a shout out. Ra Digital 247. Go check him out, man. I mean, he does a good job in the landscape. Obviously, he's centered in Bama, man, but he be all over, man. He be in the Southeast. He be in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Mississippi, man. He's all over. So wanted to give him a shout out. I thought this was a pretty cool clip. As you guys can see, she starts to get hot towards later in the game, hitting her threes. Obviously, she talked about struggling a little bit early, but keeping pace with it, staying pat, and then being able to knock down on the shot. So as you can see per the post, it says Boston College commit 2025. Amira Anderson is a hard worker, fresh off a Visa state championship with Bishop Ayrton High School. She's been dominating Nike Girls EYBL with the team takeover 17U, which is undefeated with a record of 10-0. So I thought it was great footage, putting us up on game of a player to watch for. Obviously, she's heavily recruited, currently committed to Boston College, but I thought it was a super cool clip. So I wanted to give him a shout out. Rod Digital 247 does a great job in the basketball realm of highlighting players and kind of giving them that exposure and bringing them to light. So want to give him a shout out as well. Hope you don't mind me using this clip. Definitely will give the right attribution, but special shout out to you, man. So he had a couple other players that he actually highlighted at this event. A couple players that caught his eye was Deandra Minor, she's 2027 at Love to Ball 15. Jasmine Bailey, 2027 at The Baller Jazz. Jayla Lampley, 2026 at Jayla Lampley on X as well. Lola Lampley, who is her sister, 2026 at Lola Bunny Baller. Brooklyn Hall, 2026 at Brooklyn_Hall 1. Cherish Thompson, 2025 at Cherish Thompson. Moo Johnson, 2025 at Markayla Johnson 1. Amira Anderson, 2025, who we just seen at Amira V. Anderson. Autumn Fleury, 2026 at Autumn Fleury 2. Zen Craft, 2025 at Craft Zen. Jayla Jackson, 2026 at Jayla Jordan. Jessica Fields, 2025 at Jessica F. 2025. Madden Greenway, 2026 at Madden Greenway on X. And the last three, Mackenzie Kelly, 2025 at Step Back Mac. And then Megan Yarnovich, 2025 at Megan Yarn. So the players and the reasons why I brought these players up, some of them are from Georgia, some of them not, but we're going to highlight the Georgia players. So one to know is going to be Autumn Fleury, obviously. She plays for McDonough High School, basically here in Georgia. She recently just picked up, I just seen today, that she picked up an offer from Virginia Tech. She's also named as a standout by the Junior All-Star and the Nike EYBL Session 2. As far as her stat line this past weekend, she had 14 points, 2 rebounds, and a win over Pro Skills. Looks like over And then she had 17 points and 4 assists in a win over Essence. And she had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in a win over North Tartan. Another interesting note for her, and actually for the state of Georgia Hoopers that some of us know and we don't. So class of 2026 Team USA U17 trial. She made this roster along with another standout player, and that is Kate Harpering. Obviously, we know how great she is, what she did this past year, leading Marist to another to a state championship. That game when she went off for nearly 50, I believe it was. But she is going to be playing for the US U17 trials roster. I thought that was super cool. This announcement was May 16th, so about a couple of days ago. But I thought that was super cool. It just shows how elite she is, being able to play. And obviously, a couple teams that they play for real quick. Flurry plays for Team Takeover and EYBL session. And then Kate Harpering plays for SE All-Stars and 3 SSB. So, again, if you guys don't know, there's a couple of different leagues. You obviously have the Under Armour League that you can play in. And you obviously have Nike YBL, which is the Nike circuit. And then you have 3 SSB, which is Adidas. So, it's a bunch of different circuits. But I thought it was super cool. 2 Georgia players being on this U17 trials roster, having a chance to be able to play for Team USA under 17 or under 18 team in the future. I thought that was super awesome. So she's obviously a player that is very, very elite and can play at a high level. And then the other that obviously made this list is Jessica Fields. So if you guys don't know, she plays for Mount Perrin, led them to a state championship, another heavily recruited player. She is the sister of obviously Steelers quarterback Justin Fields. Has been magnificent her whole career as well. And then her varsity year, we'll just talk about her stat line real quick of what she was able to do. And obviously she's a multi-sport athlete. She plays volleyball as well. See if we can find her basketball real quick. I don't think they do basketball stats, unfortunately. I don't think they do. Yeah, so unfortunately they don't do basketball stats. But again, a multi-sport athlete. Obviously, the year they won, they went 31-1, 18-0 in their region, and then last year ended up going 29-3, 14-0 in their region. Ended up winning another state championship, defeating Josie 59-52 in a pretty good game to come out on top. So those were the standouts, obviously, of the event. A couple of Georgia players doing their thing in the AAU circuit currently right now. So I thought that was super cool. Wanted to give them a special shout out as well. All right, and then speaking of, so obviously just girls news in general, but thought it was one I wanted to bring up, and that's Angel Reese. Obviously, she's a WNBA rookie. We know how popular she was in college basketball this past year, but pretty cool thing to see. And you know, a lot of times I talk about with players, you know, don't just obviously the money's going to come. Obviously, a lot of people don't know, but the player, just because you see a player get 10 million or 20 million. They're not really getting that because you still have to pay, you know, income tax, state tax, and things like that. So 10 million is really 4.5, maybe 5 million. So it's super cool to see. Obviously, the contracts are not there as we see on other levels. But you know, obviously, you know, NFL, NBA, baseball compared to women's sports. But I think it's trending in the right direction. And for her to go ahead and use her money in the right way and to invest into a pro sports team, I think is very, very smart. And she is now officially a sports owner for the DC Power Football Club. Obviously, it's a soccer team, but it's a women's soccer team. It's DC based, and they are actually going to begin play in the USL Super League this summer. The team announced Tuesday. So this is via NewYorkTimes.com/athletic. The team's current ownership group includes Major League Soccer's DC United, as well as community and business leaders from the DMV area as well. The club has said, "I want to help grow women's sports and elevate female athletes across the board," Reese said in a statement. "We're taking over, and I'm honored to be able to support Power FC and invest in women's soccer in the DMV community." The club did not share more details about her ownership stake in the club, but, you know, obviously Reese is a Randallstown, Maryland native. She has deep ties in, obviously, the DC area, and she hopes that by joining Power FC, she can establish new pathways for aspiring pro athletes as well. And then she said, "I'm invested in soccer. A lot of my friends play soccer as well, so I'm super excited for this partnership. And a lot of young black women don't have these opportunities. And just being able to leave my impact and make this new thing and and make this a thing now, like women in charge, not being able to do these things is something that's really important to me. So obviously she's still very young. As she says, I'm still 22, trying to figure everything out. Reese said, I'm just expecting to do as much as I can, help that organization as much as I can. I know a lot more women are going to start owning more things, and hopefully one day I can own my own team. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to own a WNBA team in the future. So that was basically what she said. It's broke about 30 minutes ago. And again, I think it's super cool because one, she's being smart. A lot of times you see players get the money and then they blow it, but she's being very smart, trying to invest in a team and grow and invest in something that's growing as well, right? National Women's Soccer League is a big thing. Obviously, this is one tier below, but I think it's very important to be an owner of certain things because then you can learn different business metrics and you're not just solely focused on, being an employee for somebody. Like, it's a little bit of a combination of both, right? So obviously she plays for she plays in the WNBA and for Chicago Sky, but you also want to be smart as well. So I think that's super cool. And what can you say about that class, that 2020 with Caitlin Clark and obviously Angel Reese, and we'll talk about Clark a little bit more later, but Camila Cardozo, Cameron Brink, they're doing things the right way, and they are really trendsetters because things like this helps put things into motion, and then in the future you can see more of it. Because once you can kind of set a trend or set something forward in the right direction, you see more of it, in the future. So I think it's super cool. And like she said, she's only 22. So to already have this mindset at a young age definitely says a lot. Obviously, I've been critical of Angel Reese at certain aspects, just trying to be authentic, keeping it real. But I also try to highlight the positive things that she does as well. And I think this is very positive. So shout out to her. Hopefully it goes in the right direction. And obviously she already has a bunch of sponsors with Reebok's Beats and more. So super exciting to see for her and what she's been able to do, not only on the court but off the court. So wanted to give her a very, very special shout out of what she's doing. All right, now we'll transition a little bit to soccer. So I've seen some pretty cool news, obviously, from Lassiter, their former alum Hal Hirsch. She recently just got invited. Let me see. Okay, so here's the tweet. All right, so she's going to be representing Team USA this June. So I think that's super cool. Obviously, they just announced the roster for the USWNT 2024 June camp roster. So we'll talk about those just a little bit. Tiernan Davidson, Emily Fox, Naomi Girma, Casey Kruger, Jenna Knight-Swanger, Emily Sonnet, Sam Stab is going to be the defenders. Midfielders, Kerbin Albert, Sam Coffey, Hal Hirschfeld, Lindsey Horan, Rose Lavelle, Lily Johannes, and then forwards, Crystal Dunn, Katerina Macario, Alex Morgan, Trinity Rodman, Jaden Shaw, Sophia Smith, Mallory Swanson, goalkeepers Jan Campbell, Aubrey Kingsbury, and Casey Murphy. So I think that's awesome to be invited to the camp roster. She has a potential chance of making the overall roster. She obviously has had a great career. She went and played at Clemson. And was actually recently recognized in 2023 making all tournament teams. So I thought that was super cool to kind of see, and now she's getting her shot to play on a very, very, very big stage. So I think that is super awesome. Great things for them. Last year's been having a really great season so far too, and just their athletics. Also recently won their fifth consecutive, state championship as well in swimming and dive. So they've been doing their thing and have been coming up big here lately. So special shout out to them as well and what they've been able to do. But that's all we got for this segment. We're going to have one more before we conclude with my top 5 headlines in women's sports, and we'll close off the show.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. So a couple more headlines to kind of close us out. Obviously not the top 5 yet, but a couple cool ones. Jefferson softball, we had their head coach on a few weeks ago, Coach Bailey, and we appreciate you, obviously, and what you do for the program. But we talked a little bit about it, and as a reminder, their camp is coming up right around the corner, June 3rd to the 5th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. And then, as he said, it's a great way to kind of, bond with the community, get to know the parents, get to know kind of the young girls coming up. But about the camp, come learn from our current and former Jefferson High School players and coaches. We will focus on fundamentals of softball while competing and having fun. Also be prepared to have some fun practicing sliding on our famous slip and slide on June 5th. We'll be at Jefferson Softball Complex at 100 Horse Jackson Road. And you can register on www.jeffersonrec.com. So they're going to have it. It is for rising 1st and 8th graders. So a great camp, great time to get to know Coach Bailey a little bit if you're going to be staying in that Jefferson program, and get to know kind of the ins and outs, obviously, of what they do and the things that they are kind of just about. So I thought that was super cool and wanted to highlight them as well. Also, we had some other hoop news I think I forgot to mention as well real quick. But a player that actually I think is blowing up as well in girls basketball. Here it is right here. I think I totally forgot to mention it. Let's see if I did this one as well. Okay. No, I did not mention that one either. But a girl I wanted to mention, that is going to be London Weaver, right? And unfortunately, they came up short. Obviously, we know how good Maris was this past year. But London Weaver was like their, I think she ended up winning like Region Player of the Year. But she was just a phenomenal player for them all year, right? 6'1", real smart player, plays for ATL Buck 17U team. But this is a player to watch just to kind of see kind of how her recruiting goes, right? Because she does a lot of different things well. She can rebound at a high level. She can defend. She also can shoot the jumper. And in the first half, I thought they competed really well with Maris until they were able to like kind of pull away. Sometimes you see that second half coming out, they pull away. So that's what happened in that one. But she was a phenomenal player, and she gets one more year, one more crack to go at it. But she recently just picked up an offer from the North Florida Ospreys. So I thought that was super cool. I obviously liked the tweet and what she's been able to do as well. But I can't wait to see where her game has progressed. Right now, she's, like I said, she's running on the circuit right now with the ATL Bucks. So far, their schedule, they've been all over. They've been in the heart of Texas, April 19th, 21st. They played at Arlington, Texas. They recently were at Lake Point in Atlanta, Georgia. They also will be at later times. They'll be at Select Super Showcase, Hamilton, Ohio. They'll be at Midwest Summer Showcase in the same spot. And they will be at the National Championship in Louisville, Kentucky, July 20th through the 22nd. She also recently picked up an offer from Mercer, so that's another good one for her as well. She's been doing her thing there. She also picked up other offers this month from University of Chattanooga. I thought that was super dope as well. But she's going to be one to watch and to see what she is able to do in the coming years. She's obviously their best player, and like I said, ended up winning Player of the Year and was announced for South County Tip-Off Club Player of the Year, man. So she's exceptional, and she also set a single-season points record, I should say, for 2023-2024 for North Forsyth. So, I mean, man, she's spectacular. Going to be one to watch, obviously, going forward, and her recruiting looks like it is starting to kind of pick up for her as well. So those are always good things to see. And then also another big basketball camp, you have the Lady Wolverines. That's West Forsyth. They're going to have their basketball camp June 3rd to June 6th, only 2 weeks away for the Lady Juniors as well. You can go to West Forsyth highschool.com and get the ladies there. But they are having a basketball camp here coming up pretty soon. All right, so I think that is all of my major headlines. One more before we hit my top 5, and that is going to be Cobb County Schools. So congrats to Cobb Schools. Female Coach of the Month for May. That is going to be Michaela Hicks of Alatoona. She coached 3 sports this past year and was a student section sponsor while also being a great teacher. So Want to also highlight the teachers as well and these coaches because, as you guys know, right, it's high school, right? So you have to coach, right, and you also have to teach classes. So best special shout out to them for doing that. And she did 3 sports this year. So special shout out to her and what she's been able to do with that program and taking all of it, but still being able to, lead her team at a high level. I think nothing short of spectacular. So special shout out to her as well. And then one more shout out. Obviously, this is not on the sporting world, but I mean, it's also super cool when you can be named valedictorian. And that's going to be from Bryan County, Richmond Hill High School. And her name looks like Joanna Zhao. She's been named U.S. Presidential Scholar. Prestigious program recognizes students for their exceptional academic achievements. Joanna is one of 4 students in Georgia and one of 161 students nationwide to receive this honor. So special shout out to her, taking the academics seriously and being able to distinguish herself amongst some great people all across the high school academics. So I think that's all for my headlines. We'll go to my now top 5. So biggest women news sports, I think, just across the sports world. So we'll go ahead and start with the Atlanta Vibe. Obviously, you know the season that they had, and how phenomenal they were this year, finishing, I believe it was first, obviously, overall in their Pro Volleyball Federation. And the most valuable player this year was Leah Edmond. A phenomenal season for her. 438 points, 381 kills, 45 blocks, and 261 digs. She was named MVP this past season for the Atlanta Vibe. So special shout out to her for an incredible year for their program as well. And as a side note, I do got to bring this up, y'all. Craig, I don't know if you've been there, but when you get a chance, man, go to gosh, why am I losing the name of what the arena's called? Gosh, I feel like an idiot. I think it's called Gwinnett Sports Arena. Let me find the name because it's not gonna make sense unless I tell you the right name.
Gas South.
There, thank you, Craig. Bro, go to Gas South when you can. Okay, look, I went this past weekend. Okay, they got this new hotel. So before they had like the Embassy Suites or whatever, they got this hotel called the Western. It's right like by like I was like most teams are probably coming here and staying here. Obviously, you know Atlanta Vibe plays at Gas South. Got this whole thing. Obviously, it's parking lots and things. They got this rooftop, bar like, but it's upscale. When you get a chance, I mean, if you want to go on a nice date, that'd definitely be the spot to go. But the Western, like, I know some people are in the staycations, y'all. Some people ain't. But if you want a nice staycation, bro, I would go dine there. It's probably like $150, $200 a night. But if you just want a nice staycation just to kind of decompress a little bit, be a nice spot to go to. I wanted to bring it up as well. But only reason I bring it up, y'all, I actually graduated from Norcross High School. And I just remember, like, it looks so different now. Now, obviously, this was, I don't want to sound old, but this was like 8 years ago. So I'm just so used to what it was before. It just was the arena. That's it. They have a whole Starbucks now. They have a whole new hotel on it. It just looks vastly different. Like 3 more parking decks. It looks so much different than how it used to look before. And obviously, this is the home to the topic at hand that we're talking about, the Atlanta Vibe. But I thought that was super cool and wanted to mention it on the show. Just the growth, obviously, of the place and, how much different it looks from when I graduated 8 years ago. It's like night and day. So I thought that was super cool as well. And not a bad place to spend. So if you decide, hey, I want to go to Atlanta Vibe next year and see them play, there's a hotel right across the street from it, basically. You ain't even got to go across actually the street. You just walk right across. Like, hotels here, you just walk right across. So I thought that was super cool. Wanted to mention that on the program as well. All right, we'll go to number 2. Georgia Gwinnett College. I thought this was super cool. Their women wins tennis NAIA title. So they struggled off a little bit to start. They rallied from a 3-1 deficit to score 3 consecutive competitive 3-set matches to defeat Kaiser University from Florida in a 4-3 match. So they're down 3-1. They won 4-3 at Mobile Tennis Center in Mobile, Alabama. This marked the 3rd time at GGC's national championships came down to winning the final match of the season. The final 2 points were secured by seniors Arena L. Her last name is kind of hard to pronounce. And then Stephanie Fernandez. And via their coach, and this is via Gwinnett Daily Post, with our experience in our players, Pure determination. I knew that we could win this match. Everyone on the team played their heart and soul out today. I'm speechless about the effort, said GGC head coach Hannah Keeling. I'm going to miss these seniors. Arena and Stephanie have been unbelievable, or had unbelievable performances to clinch. Kaiser won double points and collected straight set single victories on number 3 and number 5 courts to build a 3-1 lead in this match. Sophomore Versace Gotti accounted for GGC's early first point with a 6-2, 6-2 victory on the number 4 court. The tournament's number 1 seed will come out victorious in the final 3 matches to defeat the Seahawks for the 6th straight championship encounter. Looks like. And then Justin Leps, she captured the 3rd set with a 6-4 to complete her rally from a 5-7, 6-4, 6-4 victory on the number 1 court. A few moments later, she scored a 6-7, 7-5, 6-4 triumph in that one. Let's see. All right, and last but not least, Fernandez, she held a 5-2 lead in the final set before Vinovic won deuce game points in consecutive games to come within a point at 5-4. However, the GGC senior was determined not to lose the second service game and complete the comeback with a 6-4 victory in the final match of her collegiate career. So I thought that was super cool. Obviously for them, I'll go and tell you guys, obviously, I didn't graduate from GGC, but I mean, it's a great school to go to. I mean, especially